Good morning and welcome back to my kitchen. Yesterday I had a great day pressure canning these delicious Boston baked beans in the pressure canner. I made 9 pints and I used 3 pounds of the great northern beans. You can use navy beans. I like the northern beans and I had these in my pantry. So I used 3 pounds of those and I followed along in the Blue Book Guide to Preserving, but I did not cook these for 3.5 hours in the oven as the book suggests. I'm going to show you a quicker way that I cooked these and was able to pressure can them because I did not want Boston baked refried beans. I did not want mush, and by the time you do this recipe, you would have cooked these beans for almost 6 hours, and I didn't want to do that, and they turned out great. You'll see in the video. So this is part of the 365 jar challenge that Jill over at North Texas Vegetable Garden Canning and Recipes, her channel is hosting, and I do have a playlist where I am pulling people that are joining that challenge, and plus my videos and Jill's and Alabama Prepper, and I'm pulling all those videos in the playlist. So get you a cup of coffee one day and sit down and go through those videos. It's a wealth of information, and you can get your pantry packed this year with all these great ideas. So let's get started on this video. And also I've got all of my spring decor up on my shelves, my blue and white. I took all the Christmas down and cleaned up everything. So let me know in the comments below if you'd like a little tour of the shelves in my kitchen this winter and spring. I'd be happy to do that. Not sure how many people are interested. A lot of this stuff is thrift store finds and gifts and Dollar Tree. So if you're interested, leave me a note in the comments and then I might do a video on that. So let's get started doing our Boston baked beans. All right, I've let these beans soak overnight and they've absorbed all the water. They're nice and plump, and these are great northern beans. That's what I had already on hand. You can use navy beans, but I'm using the great northern. So I'm going to rinse these and then put them in a pot and heat them up for 30 minutes. Okay, I put these in a large pot and just covered them with water. I brought it to a boil and then I let it simmer on the stove for 30 minutes. And while that is happening, I'm going to go ahead and pull out my jars and get them washed in some hot soapy water. Then I'm going to put them in that canner beside me and go ahead and get those on the stove and get those nice and hot so they'll be ready to pack the beans in when the beans have finished in about 30 minutes. In this stock pot, I have 10 cups of water, and I'm tripling the recipe for the sauce that's in the Blue Book, and I'm adding 2 2/3 cup of brown sugar, 2 2/3 cup of molasses, just mixing that in right in the water. Then I'm adding in 6 teaspoons of salt and 6 teaspoons of ground dry mustard. Now all of this goes in the stock pot. I'm going to mix it very well. Then I'll put it over on the stove, bring it to a boil, and then just let it simmer on the stove, staying hot, so that I can pack this with my beans in the jars in just a few moments. I have 1 pound of salt pork chopped up in little pieces. I've got 2 onions that I've finely chopped. Got all my canning supplies set up, and I'm getting ready to pack the jars. So here are the hot beans, and I'm going to fill the jars 3/4 of the way up. And I went ahead and decided to go ahead and pack all the jars at the same time. And just using a spoon, I'm just packing the jars with the beans that have been cooked They are kind of al dente right now, which is perfect for this recipe. And then I'm going to be adding in the onion and the salt pork. Okay, after I've gotten each jar packed with the beans, the salt pork, and the onions, I'm ladling on that molasses broth. It smells really good. And I'm just going to fill each jar, leaving a 1-inch headspace. Then I'm going to debubble and see if I need to add any more liquid to bring it up to 1-inch headspace. Now it's really important that you run your spatula or your debubbler down the sides of every jar and making sure you get all those air bubbles out. And you can see I needed to add just a little bit more liquid. I want to make sure my beans are covered with this liquid. And then I'm going to wipe the rims of the jars with the paper towel that has been dipped in some vinegar. Alright, I'm putting my rings and lids on, and I got 9 pints of beans to put in the pressure canner, and I still have a nice pot left, so I think I'm going to put those in my Dutch oven and go ahead and bake those in the oven for 3 hours, and then we can have those for dinner tomorrow. But I just hated to waste them. I had some broth left, and I really didn't want to run the pressure canner again after this batch. So I'm just going to do the 9 pints, and then I have enough for our lunch for tomorrow in my Dutch oven. Into the canner they're going to go, and I'm going to put the lid on, let them vent for 10 minutes before adding on my weight. These need to be processed at 10 pounds of pressure for 1 hour and 20 minutes. So you can see by looking at the beans, they're nice and whole. I don't want mushy beans, and then when I take them out of the canner, I'm going to show you how they turned out. So 1 hour, 20 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure. Alright, we have finished the cooking process. I've vented for 10 minutes. I put the weight on. I cooked for 1 hour and 20 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure, and then I let the pressure come down. I waited and then took the lid off. Now it's time to remove the jars, and I was so tickled at the results. The beans still look nice and intact. The canner is so clean, so there was no siphoning out of any juice. I'll show you a close-up. So I'm very excited. I think these are going to be fun because, you know, we're going to have to heat these again when we serve them. So I think this process is working for me. You know, make sure you do your own research. But as you can see, I followed the guidelines as far as the pressure canning. All of the jars did seal. Look at those beans. They're still nice and firm. They don't look mushy. And look in the canner how clean it is in there. So I was very pleased with this process, and I will certainly make these again. Now the ones that I cooked in the oven, I took those out, and they are delicious. So I love this sauce. I love the recipe for these beans, and I will definitely be making these again. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this 365 jar challenge. As always, have a blessed day.